some year when Moi was president, Gatabaki wrote an editorial in his popular magazine called Finance, and he listed the people who are having top positions in this country, and they were all Kalenjin. He got into trouble. Kenyatta before him, everybody was Kikuyu. People were forced to speak Kikuyu in Kakamega, where Mbeerr was, in the sports club. Madenge in Nairobi, Madenge in Nakuru. Precisely. Mahiu in Mombasa. Kenya had been Kikuyunized. That's why people supported Moi when he took over in 1978. Uhuru, recently. Kibaki. All the plum jobs in government belonged to the Mount Kenya people when Uhuru was president. Today, look at all the Jewish parastatos, all the good things in this country. They all belong to Kalenjin. I have argued that the problem of this country, and it was captured very well by Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga in BBI, the Kikuyu sense of entitlement and the Luo sense of betrayal and persecution. Unless you address those two, this country will have a serious, serious problem for many years to come. Caught in between are the Kalenjin. They have their own complexes, but I don't think I really want to dwell on that. One of the reasons why people fail in elections, and they fail badly sometimes, in fact, elections they shouldn't have lost, is listening to people. If elections were held today, Ruto will be lucky to get 30% of the vote. And the NIS must know it, not even Manyora. That's the fact. So if Ruto will be listening to people like my friend, then he can get the comfort. But I'm sure he has the facts from the NIS. Will it be like that until 2027? You can't tell, because they say in politics a day is a year. But that is the fact as we speak now. If you want to know, you are counting, oh, Ruto has Nyanza, he has what? Somebody can also tell you, if Kalonzo, for example, will be the candidate and he has Mount Kenya, they choose a running mate from Western. They have Western. Then they have Lower Eastern, Ukambani. Even before you look for votes elsewhere, my friend, how many millions of votes are those? How can these other guys catch up with them? It's not possible. To Gachagua, it is simple that politics is about power. People fight to get power. Power and glory. Outside the glory, there is a substance of power. It has to be defined as who gets what, where, and when. That's what the politics is about. So people across the world fight for political power to be the ones distributing resources. People form government with like-minded people. It's a reward system where those who worked with you, those who believe in your ideals and your policies and your vision and your programs or whatever it is, those are the people you give jobs to. That's why Smith Hemstone, the rogue ambassador, the Nyamachoma eating ambassador, in his autobiography, he wonders how Bush made him ambassador, because he didn't know Bush. They didn't go to the same school. They didn't go to the same church. Please read that book. That is what politics is. To Gachagua. What does Gachagua says? He talks about shareholding. He may be putting it in a crude way. And like Naitule says, he's telling us the truth without hiding it. After all, he's a truthful man of God. Now, between Gachagua, who says what he says about shareholding, and our past president all the way from Jomo Kenyatta, in some year when Moi was president, Gatabaki wrote an editorial in his popular magazine called Finance, and he listed the people who are having top positions in this country, and they were all Kalenjin. He got into trouble. Kenyatta before him, everybody was Kikuyu. People were forced to speak Kikuyu in Kakamega, where Mbeerr was, in the sports club. Madenge in Nairobi, Madenge in Nakuru. Precisely. Mahiu in Mombasa. Kenya had been Kikuyunized. That's why people supported Moi when he took over in 1978. Uhuru, recently, Kibaki, all the plum jobs in government belonged to the Mount Kenya people when Uhuru was president. Today, look at all the Jewish parastatos, all the good things in this country. They all belong to Kalenjin. So what Gachagua is saying, he's only voicing, like Naitule says, what we do when we are in power in this country, which we must change. The only sin and the crime, Gachagua, is to tell people the uncomfortable truth in a crude way. You know, he doesn't look to be a man who wants to clothe things nicely, just as they are. What we shall be moving away from is that we belong to this country. We must endeavor, and the Constitution says as much, to ensure that when you form government, it is a government of Kenyans. Allow me to explain something, just one, before I yield. When somebody says, we have government, we fought for it, let the people who fought this government be the ones to benefit. He's not saying the Kalenjin and the Kikuyu to benefit. No. What he's saying, if you want to employ a certain person in a certain office, let him be a person who was on our side. Are you telling me you can't get a person who was on your side from Luo Nyanza? Are you telling me you can't get a person who was on your side who is a woman? Because you want to put gender balance. Are you telling me you cannot go to you can't get a youth capable of leading from Turkana? No. We should not confuse those things. People who see things like you, who are with you as you fought for power, now that you are distributing the power, people are to be found in all corners of the country. All corners of the country. You can form a government of people who believe in what UDA believes in. All of them. But all those people need not come from Rift Valley. No. They'll come from my village in Bombay. I know where I come from. There are people who believe in Ruto. If you say something against Ruto, he was recently around my village at ADC Church, Divine. If you went around that place and told Bishop, my friend, that Ruto is a bad person, he can even slap you. So Ruto followers are across the country. The people who fought for this government with Gachagua and the Ruto are spread across the country, across regions, across gender, across age groups. And therefore, when people say, form a government of people who fought with you, there's nothing wrong with that. It happens across the world. Some people should stop misunderstanding Gachagua. But even if he was wrong, you cannot say anybody who is working with Gachagua is your enemy. That is not the Kenya we want. No. There are people with reservations about the kind of person Ruto is. But they will not stop you from working with them, with Ruto. No. Because Ruto is a Kenyan. Gachagua is a Kenyan. Manyora is a Kenyan. Fredo Kango is a Kenyan. We may not agree over certain things, but we remain Kenyans. We must strive to work together. If we don't work together, then we can't have a country.
But Prof, maybe if I may remind you, even just looking at his office before, that will be very telling. Wouldn't that be an epitome of, you looking on your own side and employing people from your own side? Right, left, and center.
The bar.
Went to
the bar.
It was full of the Murima.
The bar. This country, in this country, the disease we have, you employ somebody, immediately the secretary is from his community. The driver is from his community. That's not a Gachagua disease. That is a Kenyan disease. It's from State House all the way to the counties and down and below. There isn't a single Kenyan who will give a big job and then you find the tea girl is not from his home. The secretary is not from his house, his home. If you find somebody speaking Kikuyu in a Luo office, either he has been forced there as a spy on this guy, or there is some relationship which you don't even know yourself. It is a cancer that we must treat. It is not a Gachagua problem. It is a Kenyan problem.